Cece, as a fan of the NFL, it's frustrating to me. Why can't you just name him the starter, and then when you feel like changing? Why does this have to be an ongoing dramatic dialogue where we have to pick and pull at this every single week in and week out?
Well, I don't think you understand how good Teddy Bridgewater is. You see the story with Case Keenum, and I'll give it to you. You're all about a good story. It is a good story. But also, we being NFL aficionados, we've been watching the NFL. We've watched Case's whole career. We know this is a good football team surrounding them. We know that they're doing it and could do it without Case. So my information came from this 2 weeks ago. I said that Teddy Bridgewater would be ready to play around the 1st of December. It's not the day, November the 30th.
Yeah.
Okay, and because Case has earned it, that's why you hear Coach Zimmer say, no, I'm not looking to pull him, but he has the kind of resume that would make me, based on Teddy's resume, I'm going to watch him every week because one day he's going to blow a flat tire. And I'm not going to wait for him to get 2 flat tires before I go to Teddy because I have experience with Teddy. This team has experience with Teddy. They've seen Teddy in practice. They know that the quarterback skills are both the same as far as their mobility, their arm strength, their intellect, being cerebral quarterbacks, their leadership. Teddy is a better leader. So I understand what Mike Zimmer is doing. He's letting the hot hand play, but he's also letting his team know we have a guy and we have the luxury most teams don't have. Teddy Bridgewater is a starting quarterback in the NFL. Even if he's not in Minnesota, Case Keenum is not a starter in the NFL, even though he's on a tremendous run. I believe Coach Zimmer and the Vikings are doing the right thing.
The best evidence that Cris is right about this is what Zimmer keeps doing. Because, Jenna, when I was talking with you a month ago about Case Keenum, my big argument against him was he's never strung 2 good games together. Mm-hmm. Well, now, since we started talking about this, he's strung 3 good games together.
He's had a month.
He's had a month of the best football of his life.
I know.
The Vikings are 9-2. And yet Mike Zimmer, it seems to me, clearly wants to bench him. Like, can't bench him when he's playing this well,
yes,
but wants to bench him. And so this is what's so interesting to me, because if people don't watch the show every day, and I get a lot of people don't, like, Jenna early on is like, hey, you're winning. Even if Case is just a part of it, not the leading factor, why would you change anything? And since then, Case has backed you up by playing the best football of his life. But the head coach has every opportunity been like, yeah, week to week, we'll see. I don't know. And those guys are the guys that see Teddy every day.
I get chills thinking about it because I got the phone call from Minnesota when Teddy shattered his knee. Yeah. And they're like, Cris, we're concerned. He could lose his leg. He could have serious nerve damage. He could never play ever again.
That's an amazing story, too.
Come back. But if you see that guy run onto the football field and get in the huddle, there's certain things about football you just don't understand unless you're there. But if I have a guy that does that and he's willing to risk everything, that type of thing multiplies through the team. Yeah. And this could be a special season for Minnesota. They're saying, we're not going to throw it away. Yeah, Case is hot. But this is an odd year. This could be our year. The Super Bowl's in Minnesota. They could have home field advantage. They could play 2 games and then play in their home stadium.
Right. Quick question. You said if Case Keenum has a flat tire, they won't let him get 2. Tell me what a flat tire would look like.
If he throw 2 interceptions in the first half, he got to go.
2 interceptions in the first half.
You get the stepper.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy, let's get it. Let's get it warmed up. Get in the bullpen because we're going to the righty.
All right, back to the NBA now. We're talking LeBron James and his impending free agency. LeBron can opt out of his contract at the end of this season. Reports are that the 76ers are interested in King James. This would put LeBron next to a young core of Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and #1 overall pick, Markelle Fultz. CC, let's talk about it. Let's break this down. Let's get into it. Should LeBron want to play for the 76ers?
Well, this is the thing. First of all, let's just say that he is going to leave Cleveland.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you have to kind of put that context there because it's not as if Philadelphia would ever have a chance if he was going to stay in Cleveland.
Correct.
It's this. He's decided to leave. So I think it's important just to say that.
Okay.
Now, what would be the teams that he would look or franchise he would look to go in? To me, I believe it's an East-West decision. Do I decide to go to the Western Conference, or do I want to stay in the Eastern Conference? If he stays in the Eastern Conference, I mean, where else could he go? I believe the only viable opportunities are staying in Cleveland or joining a very young and talented team in Philadelphia.
Even though he said time and time again he really doesn't want to play with a bunch of young players, like especially going into year 16, you still think he'd be a good fit with a group of young players that have to start coaching?
They have 5 or 6 young guys, but let me tell you, if LeBron comes there, they're going to get rid of 3 or 4 of those other guys to get a couple more shooters.
Okay.
So he would balance it out. Cal Korver, wherever LeBron goes, you better watch out to see if Cal doesn't come. J.R. Smith, man, he'll play for free wherever LeBron. LeBron has that type of draw, so it's about getting shooters. LeBron is more apt to play with older players now because he's more familiar with their skill set, and most veteran players have learned the new NBA game, and their jump shots or being able to stretch the floor is better because they understand that compared to the younger players.
So, all right, first of all, let me say this. Before any of these reports came out, before anything, on this television show, Show 32, people can check. In the morning meeting, CC, you weren't there at the time. I took credit for bringing this up. The truth is, Cris Carter brought it up, I think, off the air, and I then brought it up on the air. So, Cris Carter, I think, started the reports of LeBron.
Wait,
it might have been me. I'm not certain.
I brought this up.
But
so I don't know what
the reason that this makes sense is because the NBA's got a salary cap. And LeBron wants to buy a team one day. LeBron is done taking discounts. LeBron is not going to play for the minimum so he can chase a ring. LeBron wants $35 million a year to play basketball because he's got almost $1 billion now. Well, right now he's making the most he can make, which is like $32 million, but it goes up as you get older. Sure. The Sixers can afford him.
Yes.
Even with Joel Embiid's getting a $20 million raise next year. Even with Joel's raise, they're going to have $31 million in cap space without making a single move. So they can afford him. You can always move around a few dollars. They can afford him and keep their core intact. You mentioned young players. LeBron doesn't want to teach guys. Ben Simmons doesn't need a ton of teaching. He might benefit from some mentoring. Joel Embiid, I think, would benefit from some maturity mentoring as far as some of his, we think it's funny, but those antics will grow old quicker than people believe. So then you just look around the league. What other teams are poised
to pay him?
To pay him?
Pay him, one.
And that it would fit. People will say Houston. I love the idea of Houston. He loves Chris Paul. But then you're going to have 3 guys on Houston whose best skill set is the ball in their hands. Harden, Paul, LeBron. People, he wants to go to the Lakers. Man, why? Brandon Ingram just had his first career 30-point game last night, and I'm happy for him. But Brandon Ingram's not ready to be a star. Paul George, the way he's playing right now, he looks like he's all of a sudden on the back end, and Lonzo is worlds away. If you're going to say, again, I think he stays in Cleveland. I don't think you leave the defending champion.
Yeah, okay. Well, he thinks that they're going to win. I think there's 2 spots. And they were surprising when I said them the first time. The first spot, I believe, would be East and West, and that'd be Philadelphia being the East. I believe if he does go West, I believe that he might take some type of discount and join up with Greg Popovich and go to San Antonio. Because LeBron would love to be coached by someone like Pop who has the same type of not only politics, the way he goes about coaching, the way he rests the players, and LeBron is a savant of basketball knowledge. And he would be like, I'm going to the laboratory to get my master's degree. I'm going to get stamp of approval from Pop before he retires.
And who's more like Pop than Pop? So I guess that would be a good place for him to go. That was sort of a dumb question. Just real quick, what would be accomplished by leaving Cleveland?
We love it.
Why leave Cleveland?
He would only leave Cleveland, I believe, if he thinks the team cannot compete for a title next year. Let's say Isaiah Thomas comes back, re-injures his hip.
Yeah.
D. Wade retires. There's, that is the oldest roster in the league.
Right.
They're squeezing all the juice out of the berry right now, but it's a long
season. And if the Cavs decide from a financial standpoint they're not going to continue to pay the the high luxury tax that they have been paying and committed to since LeBron's been there.
All right, cool. Coming up, how badly did the Giants handle